Hi everybody, this is Hero from the Birds back with another Shadowlands video. In this video I'd like to take a look at a Mythic Plus oriented Arms Warrior DPS style. Going into 9.2, we have double legendaries. I'm here in Kyrian land, so we're taking Elysian Might as our given on the belt. And we're going to play Whirlwind. So in general, Arms Warrior AoE and Cleave is slightly more complicated than other specs. You have your moments when you have Blade Storm, and you're using that because there's a huge pack. You have your moments when you are sweeping with Dreadnought, Overpowers, and Mortal Strikes and Executes, and looking for execute targets to sweep with. And then you have outside of that where you, if there's a giant pack, you are whirlwinding because there's just too many targets. But Whirlwind itself tends to be a very, very low priority in Arms Warrior. Fury uses it a little bit as a filler, but Arms basically never wants to press it if they can help it. Now, what we're doing is not something super unique, but I want to show you how everything kind of lines up for a very clean approach. We begin by looking at the reason we want to play this, which is Merciless Bone Grinder, amplifying our Whirlwind damage after Bladestorm is finished, and I'll show you why we're taking Ravager in a second. We are going to use that alongside the Legendary to empower our Whirlwind and make it slap in AoE specifically. So that's the goal. The way this works is we want to line up everything we can on a 45-second window. We have Warbreaker, which is our 45-second damage amp. We have Ravager, which takes our Bladestorm and moves it to 45 seconds to line up. And then because of Mechanicos, our Kyrian dude, in AoE, whenever we hit with our spear, it's going to reduce the CD. So multiple targets usually put this in the 40 to 50 second range, so line it up very nicely with this build. Essentially, it's very, very simple. You charge in, you drop Ravager, you press Sweeping Strikes, and then you Colossus Smash, and then you press your Kyrian button and Whirlwind. Charge in, Ravager, Sweeping Strikes, Colossus Smash, Spear, Whirlwind. That is a very, very consistent approach in Mythic Plus, and I've tested this on live, and in like a 215 geared character, you pull 20k DPS on packs, and obviously the bigger the pack, the better. So I'm going to show you a video now of how it works. Before I do that, there's one other piece. Our 45 talents here and our Ravager are kind of confusing for many people who are tending to use Dreadnought. Ravager is chosen so that we can preemptively get to our Merciless Bone Grinder without being stuck in Bladestorm, but it also has another important function of giving us rage while we're spending it in the initial phases. And obviously, the final piece, which is very important, is it procs Deep Wounds, our mastery. So this makes sure that our mastery is effective all the way through the combo, right until the end, while we're still dealing damage ourselves. Deadly Calm is chosen because the combination of Kyrian plus Bladestorm, or Ravager in this case, are going to overcap us on rage, and we are kind of rage hungry as Whirlwind. So we are going to make sure that we have enough rage so that the initial application of Ravager and our Kyrian Spear don't put us over the limit, but also give us a nice little pool to work with. And finally, we can use the back half of Deadly Calm when we dip below, right in the special moment where Colossus smashes up due to our two-piece, and we have Merciless Bone Grinder. So that's just the moment when we're running out of rage. So Deadly Calm allows us to get 4 more free Whirlwinds. You can play with Avatar. It gives you that really giant peak at the beginning, but then you have valleys for your second set, and then you're back to the peak. So depending on the dungeon, Avatar might just be a little bit better, but just note you will cap out on rage, and you'll have to put some overpowers into the build in every single rotation if you use Avatar, because you just will not have the rage to do it. Let's look at the rotation in practice. You can see here I line up. We make sure we have Shout on, charge in, then we're going to press Ravager, then we're going to press Sweeping, then we Colossus Smash, we Kyrian Spear, and you can see I'm just now hitting 130 as I spear, and then we go to town with Whirlwinds. And we're just, you can see my Merciless Bone Grinder is up now and overlapping with Colossus Smash. Those finish pretty close to the same amount of time. At the same moment, we are dipping below so that we can use Deadly Calm to make sure we sustain our Whirlwinds through that period. And I'm just pressing Whirlwind all the way through, right to the end there. That was the only button you can see on the details. We had one overpower after the entire thing was finished. That's what the build looks like, guys. It is really, really strong if you want something very consistent in your Mythic Plus, where you know every single pack or 45 seconds, everything's going to line up right together. It happens every time. You don't have to worry about weird Blade Storm stuff or having sweeping off because you sweeping in bizarre places and executed. It's really excellent. And let me just talk to you about some of the back end stuff, other talents that I'm using, and why I've made these choices. War Machine works really nicely in Mythic Plus dungeons where things die, and it guarantees we have rage uptime. Sudden Death's not bad. Skull Splitter's something we just won't ever press. But again, we don't really have time to use these executes. Massacre tends to be the go-to for most of the time in our dungeon settings. Rend obviously is not that great for Mythic Plus. But Fervor of Battle is something that allows us to cleave with our sweeping strikes while pressing our Whirlwind button. So you'll notice in the breakdown that Slam actually has a pretty good representation. It's about 11 to 12% of our damage overall. That's not too bad. So this is just sort of passively happening because we pressed sweeping strikes before we started our combination. So that's why we're using Fervor of Battle instead. And then I've explained the other ones. If you guys, again, looking for something nice and clean, simple strategy every single time, same order of abilities, they all come back together, this is an awesome Mythic Plus build. Hope you guys enjoy, and we'll catch you again next time.